As you can see here, we've got some Artem straps and some Forstner bracelets, and actually one on the wrist as well. And these have been sent out to the channel for me to have a look at, and I've got to tell you, normally I'm pretty happy with Artem straps and I think they're phenomenal. And with these I found I want to share something with you guys that I think it's important to understand when you get a brand new strap. So I'll share something with Artem, but on that note I'm also going to share about Forstner, because I've been looking at getting basically a replacement strap for my Black Bay 58 because I'm really not pleased with the original bracelet, and I wanted to try something else. And Forstner have got these, so this has been quite impressive. This has been really good. But with the other straps, I've got to say they're questionable in areas, and I want to share that with you guys because a lot of people, when they go to buy straps, they don't know what they're going to be like. They don't know how they're going to behave on the wrist. So hopefully a video like this can help you make a decision to sway you in a direction, yes or no, from personal experience of wearing these straps and trying them out on different watch heads. Now, first cab off the rank, we'll go to Forstner. And one of the first things that I'll say that my first observation is that these are extremely light. This is really lightweight. So the problem that I found with a particular watch strap like this is that the watch head is heavier than the strap. The strap being so lightweight, it sort of tends to unbalance the watch head on the wrist. I've had to find ways to either try to find a watch head that's relatively lightweight to be able to compensate for the fact that this strap is so lightweight. Is it comfortable? Yes and no. Yes, because of the fact that it is thin and lightweight. No, because of the fact that the watch head itself is not balanced on my wrist. So that's been my observation with this Comfy JB mesh strap. I think it's great for vintage style looking watches. Honestly, I think this will probably suit something like a manual wind, smaller watch head, something that's not as heavy, something more vintage. But for modern watches that do weigh a little bit more, this has not been ideal. Next cab off the rank, the Forstner 7-row beads of rice. Although I actually wanted to have a look at the 9-row beads of rice, they only had the 7 in stock at the time, so they sent this out. And again, on first impressions, really light. It's a little bit rattly as well, so the build quality, look, I think it's going to last, but because of the gauge, the lightweightness of this steel, of the design, especially coming in with a pressed clasp rather than a milled, there's hardly any weight to this. So having a watch head that's a little bit heavier and placing this, it really feels like it's unbalancing on the wrist. And again, is it comfortable? Yes, it is. You just need to find the appropriate watch head to match something like this up with. The look is great, but again, a 9-row beads of rice for me would have been more ideal. And that's why I say even with the clasps, the way they've designed them, they're harkening to old school. It's a pressed clasp with a multitude of micro adjustment holes, exactly how they used to make them in the day, brand new and better quality. If you're looking for something vintage, yes, they're here, but they do have their drawbacks. They are a very lightweight strap. The next strap I want to talk about is this ladder bracelet, and for me, I love the look of this. I really do. Again, it's relatively lightweight. It's not as light as the other two, but it does still have quite a bit of rattling involved. So things to expect when you're going to buy something like this. It looks amazing. This particular one happens to be very comfortable on the wrist, and it's a little bit heavier than the other two offerings. So the balance from a watch head with this bracelet seems to be much better suited. Again, you're looking at a pressed clasp, quite a few micro adjustments, a very vintage design, and I've played around with this on quite a few watches and I really enjoy its look. Comfort wise, it's been good, so there's really not too much to complain. And the last Forstner bracelet has been this flat link contemporary style. It's phenomenal. This one here is the pick of the bunch. And I say this because the articulation is great, screw pins as normal. It just seems to fit on the wrist beautifully. You've got a milled swivel, milled clasp, multiple amounts of micro adjustability. I've not had an issue with this particular one here. In fact, I've really enjoyed it. I've not wanted to take it off. For me, it's been a much more enjoyable experience on my wrist than the original Tudor bracelet. Now again, with this one, there is a bit of rattling involved. So the tolerances, as you can see, they are fairly loose, which would have been nice to see them a little bit tighter, but even in saying that, the comfort on this has been great. So I think for a bracelet option, for me, the Black Bay 58 is better off on something like this than its original bracelet. I've heard many people find the original bracelet extremely comfortable and perfect. For me, it just doesn't have the right micro adjustability for my wrist size. This is ideal. Next, I want to share with you guys these Artem straps. These are the HydroFlex. They're basically hybrid. In other words, if you have a look, you've got sailcloth on the top and FKM rubber on the bottom. And the flexibility has been phenomenal. So these have been really good in flexibility. However, that said, let me show you guys something. If you look at these straight out of the box, they're straight. So that's how these things come. And when I put them on my wrist, because of the bolstering, the thickness of the FKM rubber in the middle here, it tends to push the watch head slightly up. And this is not the only Artem strap that does it. All the Artem straps do this. And I think this is something that I've taken for granted and not really spent time to mention in a video. And I'll share that with you guys today. If you look at these straps, look at the difference. So this particular one here seems curved and this one is straight. So this one has been on my wrist, or should I say in my watch box, wrapped around the holder, conforming to the shape of that watch holder. So after a day, if I take it out of my watch box, it's already got some of the shape intended on what it should look like around the wrist. And from experience with any Artem strap, the longer that I've actually had straps like this in a watch box or on the wrist, the more they conform to your wrist. And I'll show you an example. This is my IWC, as you can see, and even if I unbuckle it, there. That's what it looks like. As you can see, it's already taken the shape of my wrist. It's going to remain like that. So when I put this on the wrist, it's extremely comfortable. Now, all that said, the original Artem straps, these loopless ones, they seem to maintain their shape beautifully. Whereas what I've noticed with the FKM, they'll develop that round shape which you need, but having FKM rubber on the bottom, they seem to straighten out a little bit more than normal. As you can see, if I was to leave this, eventually it'd straighten out again because of the FKM rubber. So just bear that in mind. Now, in saying that, are these comfortable? I think after 3-4 days in a watch roll or around your wrist, they settle into place. So yes, because of their flexibility, because of the way that these things are designed, yes, they are comfortable. But just give it time, guys. That's my honest opinion on these things. Now, Artem has also sent one of these out for me to have a look at, and not been a big fan. This is called the RM style deploying clasp. Personally, I'd rather wear these straps on the standard tang buckle, but that's just me. Sometimes I like wearing straps with tang buckles like this, other times with a loopless deployant. This I've never been a huge fan of. It's decent, but there's quite a bit of, if you have a look, that shape just doesn't seem to suit my wrist. Now, for a bigger wrist that might be great, but for me it doesn't work. None of these straps are inexpensive. They cost a decent amount of money, and I think it's always better to be able to watch a video to get someone's take or someone's experience on what they've had with straps like this. For me, these are a little bit too light. That's been really good. That's been exceptional. These, phenomenal, but you have to wait for a break-in period. You have to wait for these things to settle into place, or initially you're going to find yourself saying, gee, why is it pushing the watch head up? That's normal. And even in saying that, I still have a preference of the loopless. That's me, and just the way they seem to maintain that beautiful shape. But whatever the case, guys, pick your poison. A bunch of good straps, not without the flaws, and not without their high price tag. Leave me your comments. Let me know what you think about these, and we'll see you in the next one.